Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about how to cover up acne, how to cover up blemishes, redness on the skin, discoloration even. As you may be able to tell, my skin is breaking out right now because disclaimer, it is that time of the month for me, and many of you younger girls who struggle with teenage skin, like problem skin, you often ask me if I could do a video about how to cover up acne or just blemishes in general, and normally I've had a hard time actually filming those videos because I don't really break out. But as you can see, there are definitely some problems right now with my skin, and right now I'm not wearing any fake tan, I'm not doing anything, so this is the truth. Like, this is how my skin is right now, and you can definitely tell that I've got some discoloration under my eyes, I've got some dark circles that we need to cover up, I've got some pimples, some redness, some imperfections around my face, so there's a lot to cover. And let me just say that I personally do like a medium to full coverage with my skin. However, I don't like it to feel heavy, and I don't want it to look heavy either, so it's kind of like a struggle sometimes, but when you do use the right products for your skin and the right textures and so on, it works wonders. And we just say that having pimples or spots or whatever, that is not wrong, and that is totally okay. It is normal, we've all got them every now and again, so don't feel ashamed at all. So let's just try to cover them up nicely without being too heavy, and then let's focus on all of the nice things. First things first, whenever you work with skin that's a bit troubled skin, or actually just skin in general, always remember to sanitize your hands if you're gonna do some skincare, which I'm gonna do as well because I want to show you everything that I do. The reason why we often break out is because of bacteria and stuff like that, and we don't want that. So always remember to sanitize really well before using your fingers on your skin. Once you've sanitized, I think it's really important to use some good skincare on your skin. A, because it will work much better for your skin will get some moisture and so on, and even though you do have oily skin, dry skin, combined skin, normal skin, if you're lucky, then you still need some moisture. That is just basic needs for your skin. And I'm one of those people that say that you have to customize your skincare regime to what kind of skin you've got. So find the right choices for you. I'm gonna use something that's made for kind of like normal to slightly oily to slightly dry skin, so that combined skin type. Firstly, I'm gonna be using the Clinique Sculpt Wear Serum because I like some anti-aging stuff as well. I'm just using 2 pumps on my cheeks, and as you can see now, I'm using my finger to blend it into the skin. Then for the under eye area, I'm going to be using the Hydrating Eye Cream from Bobbi Brown. The great thing about this one is that it really hydrates. I always make sure to go for some lightweight textures on my skin because I know that I'm going to apply some makeup afterwards. And in these creams from Bobbi Brown, whether it's the eye creams or face creams, I've said it before and I'll say it again, they've got primers in them as well. So they really make sure that your makeup on top will sit much better on the skin. And then I just work it in gently. And then for face cream, I'm gonna be using my One True Love. You know this one, guys. It is obviously my vitamin rich face base from Bobbi Brown as well. Great because it's oil free, so if you do struggle with acne skin, it is not too moisturizing or too oily on your skin, and also the primer effect in it as well. And then I just massage it into the skin. Now my skin has already been nicely primed and moisturized and so on, but I can still see some redness on my skin that I want to even out a tiny bit, so I'm gonna do some color correcting now, and I'm gonna be using the MAC Prep and Prime CC Cream. The great thing about this one is that it's got SPF 30 in it as well. Those places where we do have that extra redness on our skin, that is actually often where our skin is most sensitive. So having SPF really helps to protect that specific area so it doesn't go even more red or discolored or anything like that. And this one is in the shade Neutralize, so it goes in and neutralizes the skin. Many people, they often ask me, why don't you use any green primers or anything like that? And honestly, I have tried that in the past, and I don't like those green things on my skin because I really feel like that even though they even out redness, they just make my skin look so weird. It looks so gray and just so weird. I want my skin to look like skin and not any gray, greeny kind of thing. It just doesn't look cute if you ask me. And I actually only use it where I do have that extra redness. And I like to use my finger to blend it into the skin. And even though that doesn't make the redness or the pimple or whatever go away, it still neutralizes just a tiny bit more. In that way it makes it so much easier for me to do the foundation routine afterwards. And you can even use it on your eyelids as well. My eyelids, they're always so red. Once again, it doesn't really have any coverage, but as you can see, it just evens out the redness a tiny bit. And now we move on to the under eye area, which is why I've zoomed you in so much. And I'm sorry that you have to deal with this. It is not beautiful, I know. But I've zoomed you in because I really want you guys to see what I do. What I'm gonna be doing is that I'm gonna be using a corrector and a concealer, and I'm gonna be using those two under my eyes just to get any discoloration under my eyes, the dark circles away, and also just to conceal any redness. Overall basic stuff and basic knowledge is that a corrector is made for dark circles, so if you do have that darkness under the eyes, and the concealer is made to conceal redness, so they're made to conceal or correct different things. So that is why they can't really stand alone. I mean, they can obviously, but you definitely get the best result if you use them together. And because I do have fairly dry skin under my eyes, but I still want some high full coverage, I'm gonna be using the Bobbi Brown Intensive Skin Serum Corrector and Concealer. These are some of my absolute favorite correctors and concealers. They are amazing. Also because they do have a serum in them, so they're really nice and hydrating under the eyes, but they've got such a high full coverage while still being really lightweight. You always start out with the corrector because that is the one that corrects that dark circle under the eye. So I'm going to use that one firstly, and I'm actually only applying it where I do have that darkness, and that is mostly in my inner corners, as you can see. And you can obviously use your fingers to blend it in. I like to use a beauty blender. I just feel like that it gives such a natural and great finish. And then I just gently work it into the skin. And I make sure not to drag too much in it, but just place it down. And you see how much it just brightens up in there. It's amazing. So hopefully you can see how it's just brightened up under my eyes and removed any of those dark circles that I had. And now, because it is very bright under there and it looks kind of like really bright, I'm gonna be using the concealer afterwards. The concealer kind of like neutralizes the color, makes it look like the rest of the skin. And also if I do have some redness out here, for example, this is your best friend. So I'm just gonna be using this one afterwards, placing it in the same area and then dragging it all the way out as well. And then just blend it in once again with the beauty blender. So hopefully you can see how much more fresh and awake I look under my eyes. Let me just zoom you out so you also see it from a distance. And here it is from a normal light distance, and as you can see, I look much more awake, once again, much more fresh and healthy, and that's exactly what I want from corrector and concealer. The next big question that I always get from people at my counter at Bobbi Brown or just in general on my YouTube channel: do you use foundation or concealer firstly? Like the first step that you do when you move onto the skin. I personally say that I always use a foundation firstly, and the reason being very straight up that if you use concealer before your foundation, when you then go in with your foundation, you actually just rub around on the things that you just applied. And that way it's just gonna be product on top of product that just wipes away and just wipes around on the skin, whereas the foundation kind of gives you a nice foundation, if you get what I mean. And then if you still have got some redness or some pimples that you need to cover up even more, that is when you use the concealer. The foundation that I'm going to be using today is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Invisible Cover Stick Foundation. I am absolutely in love with this one at the moment, and because these kinds of stick foundations, they can go from a light to medium to a full coverage, I can kind of like customize the coverage level on my skin and where I need some extra coverage, and in that way I also have to use less concealer afterwards, so that means less product on the skin. And I just draw some beautiful lines on my skin, then use the beauty blender to blend it in. So as you hopefully will be able to tell, my skin looks so much more even now thanks to the foundation. And that is exactly what a foundation is supposed to do, to even out the skin and to even out the redness in the skin as well. And a little extra tip is just that using a foundation that's got a tiny bit more coverage in itself actually also helps you to not have to use that much concealer afterwards. For concealers, you can use so many different ones. I personally like those concealers that are more liquid in texture, but that still gives a really nice coverage, but without being too pasty and too heavy on the skin. I don't like that heavy feeling. That is just not what I go for on an everyday basis. So I'm gonna be using the Born This Way concealer from Too Faced. This is one of my new absolute favorite concealers, and I'm just gonna be using it wherever I do have those extra spots, as you can see. Also maybe a teeny tiny bit around my nose as well, where I do have some extra redness. Then once again, take a beauty blender and gently blend it into the skin. And to set things down, I'm going to be using the Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Setting Powder. The reason why I love this one is because it's very lightweight in the texture and it's a loose powder, so it doesn't sit really heavy on the skin. And to those of you who do struggle with creasing under eye area like me, for example, I'm going to be baking as well with the Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Setting Powder because it really works for me. And I'm actually both going to be baking under my eyes and then also on my chin, where I often tend to like touch my skin during the day, because those places where I do wear off my makeup is actually in this area because I'm eating, drinking, just touching my skin. So I do tend to bake under my eyes and then right here just to make my makeup set much more. Just make sure there's no creasing going on before using the powder. Then take the powder, press your beauty blender into it, and then press it onto the skin. And then on the rest of the face, I'm not gonna be baking anymore because I don't want to build up too much like powder on my skin. I'm just gonna be using a brush. This is the contour brush from Real Techniques, and then the powder, and then just very gently use it just around my nostrils. Just some light dusting. And also my little crusty beast down there. And while that is baking away, I'm just gonna do the rest of my makeup for today, and then I'll return to you guys and show you the finished result of the skin. Hey guys, so I'm back again after having done the rest of my makeup, and I just want to show you that the before and after is kinda wow. As you can see, you won't even be able to tell that I've got trouble skin right now because it looks so much more pulled together. You can't see the redness showing through. And I just want to show you that all of the different steps, they really help to give you a really nice healthy base. This is kind of like my everyday makeup where I wear some mascara, some nice defined brows, and then a really nice base where you're covered when it comes to like redness and everything like that. So it's not too much, it's not too little, but it's definitely covered everything that I wanted to cover. And the difference is so big though. I mean, just compared to when I started this video, I feel like that this is me. This is me with makeup on, and I feel pretty damn confident. And that was actually all for this video. I really hope that this could help you if you do struggle with acne, skin, or just troubled skin in general, or if you, like me, sometimes have those small minor imperfections. If you do have any questions, leave them down below for me and I'll try to answer them. If you liked the video and found it helpful, as I said, like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, so you can follow me, and also follow me on my Instagram, Snapchat, wherever. I post so many photos and stuff in there. And I think that was all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all, to the moon and back and everywhere else.